So, update. Well, first of all, I have a Christmas tree. Obviously. It's freezing out. I don't want to go out. I spent all morning in the vet ER with my cat Percy. He's the one who's stealthy and the least likely to be on video. That was Pixie's tail. She just walked by. I thought he had a urinary tract infection. Turns out he has, there's some funky word for it, starts with an I, cystitis. This probably got that wrong too. In a nutshell, he's just got an inflammation that's making it hard for him to pee. No infection, no crystals, no surgery. Still $300. But actually it's really good. He just needs some medicine and he needs to rest, and hopefully it won't be a chronic situation. This is, I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to spit it out. Yesterday was a holiday. It was very difficult. What I did partially was put up this tree. And then finally I went out to dinner by myself at a restaurant. Oh my God. The only good thing about it, it wasn't super busy, but it was pretty busy, and it was late, and they were exhausted, and they basically left me alone, and I somehow didn't feel judged. I think that everybody was really focused on their own thing, on being with their own family and having their own conversations, and not paying the slightest bit of attention to me, and the wait staff were exhausted and didn't want to deal with me either. And then I went to see a movie. I went to see Knives Out, which was all right. I mean, it was packed movie theater because there's nothing else to do on Thanksgiving. Rough. So, a couple of crazy days again this week. Really hard because these are the family things that I would do with my family that basically doesn't exist anymore. And especially when I had to go to the ER for myself. So yeah, me and the cat, both in the ER this week. Great, huh? What's really stupid is what works for me when I'm really down and out is a distraction, like trying to put all these lights on this stupid tree. Because, yeah, there are 3 different kinds of lights on there. But I'm looking at it without my glasses, so it's all blurry, so it looks fine to me. I'm sure it looks really weird and strange to anybody else, but there's nobody else that's going to look at this tree. Right? Anyway, and actually the tree is the only decoration I do for the holidays at all. But I like it. So there it is. I don't know if I'm going to put ornaments on it. Because again, I look at it without my glasses, so I can't really see it. Everything's blurry. All I see are the lights anyway, so I don't know. Maybe I'm done. Anyway, so I was in the ER for 6 hours, and I'm just sitting there ruminating and thinking, because there is no distraction. There's nobody. I mean, I suppose if there was anybody that was available, I suppose they could have come and sat with me, maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm actually not an expert on being stuck in a freaking hospital. Usually, my regular doctor knows that that's about the worst place for me, so they don't do that. But the rumination is kind of like the worst part. Oh, here comes Pix again. She's probably going to get her tail in front of the camera again. Anyway, it's a terrible thing. Yeah, there's her tail. Absolutely horrible. to sit there and think and think and think and think. I mean, this is what you're supposed to not do if you have avoidant personality disorder. So sticking you in a room with the no distractions, you can't have your phone, you can't have a book, you can't have a magazine, you can't have anything. Thanks, Pix. Getting in the way again. It's stupid. It's really dumb. Being in the house, I mean, I was doing chores all day, plus lugging around this tree. But then when it got difficult, that's when I left and went to try to go get something to eat, because that's actually one benefit, is far less cooking if you don't have people to cook for. After that, again, go to a movie. I mean, yes, it was kind of like weird. I was on an aisle seat, but I was still next to a person, so I was like sort of leaning as far away from them as I could. It's the same thing I did on the plane the week before. Just lean as far as I can away from the other person beside me. It's a very strange thing, but it's also kind of like they think that, you're trying to be polite, so even though it's weird, they don't give you a hard time about it. There's her tail again. But that's dumb, in my opinion. And anybody who is in charge of mental health should know this, that it's a really stupid thing to put somebody with absolutely no distraction whatsoever to sit and ruminate about how much things suck by themselves. I mean, it's against the law to have significant time in isolation if you're in jail. And basically that's what they do. And it's really stupid. So I've gotten through the holidays. I'm obviously prepping for the next one because I have this tree up. I'm supposed to see my kid next week, but he's canceled on me. I think I'm still going to go to Boston anyway. I don't know. I'm sort of rambling and sort of kvetching and sort of venting. I really don't know how to spread the word, but it really should be spread far and wide that how they treat mental health patients in the ER, where they stick you in a room by yourself and you just sit there and ruminate about what you're doing, how you got there, all the terrible thoughts going on in your head. When are the people going to come and get you? How much stuff you could be doing, you should be doing, that you're wasting your time there, wasting money, wasting. It's bad. It's like they got to come up with a different plan. Here comes, she jumped, but she didn't jump in front of the camera. I don't know how to spread the word about that. And probably somebody who's watching a video about avoidant personality disorder, this is probably the, least effective way to try to spread the word, because y'all probably don't have large groups of people that you want to sit and talk about your mental health issues with, which I completely understand. But yeah. So earlier this week, because I listened to a newbie doctor, I did the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do, of what my therapist has trained me to do, of what I know is effective, which is sit and ruminate. And it was dumb. And yesterday on the holiday when I was alone, I mean, let me tell you, I just felt like a total waste of life all day. All day. In every way you can imagine. But I kept busy. And it's actually in DBT, where you're supposed to let a thought come in and not let it hunker down. Instead, just let it in, acknowledge that the thought was there, and then let it go and think something else. On to the next thought. Yesterday, with the help of going to a movie and putting up my tree and all this dumb stuff I was doing, that was pretty effective. I did that pretty good. I don't know. I'm repeating myself because that's what I do. But I do definitely think that a hospitalization, an ER visit, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. I mean, it's a little bit better than what they used to do, which is, put people in iron cages until they snap out of it. But more or less, yeah, that's what they're doing. They're locking people up. I mean, I wasn't locked up, but I was actually. I was, it's actually the first time I had reconstructive surgery and I have screws in my wrist, a plate in my wrist. It's the first time ever that I got a metal detector that dinged because of my hardware in my wrist. I mean, it's serious lockup there. I don't know. So I am repeating myself. But one, I wanted to do the update, which is I got through the holiday. And two, I wanted to point out how completely lame the hospital situation is now for people with any sort of mental health, that they force you to do the thing they tell you definitely do not do. I don't know how to fix that. And if anybody can figure out a way to fix it, highly encourage you to spread the word and try on your own. Or I don't know if there's anything I could do to help. To come up with a new solution of what they do to people in the ER. I mean, I didn't die, but I wasn't going to in the first place. I was there because I had a doctor that I went over this in the previous video, but I'm flagged to automatically always fill out a depression questionnaire. I had a new doctor, saw the numbers, absolutely flipped out, even though it was better than my baseline and my average. Still saw the numbers, didn't know how to deal with it because she was a newbie doctor. It was actually, I was humiliated. I think I told this in another video, that they called my therapist and harassed my therapist at night. I hate that. Unnecessary, and I hate being a burden. Anyway, and so I had a voicemail from my therapist, which I did eventually listen to. It really took me 3 times because I would listen to it and I would be like, it's like my brain would explode and melt down because, oh my God, my poor therapist was harassed as a result of my existence. I didn't do anything except existed. And this poor guy got, call it 11 o'clock at night or something like that. I don't think it was that late. Anyway, whatever. But it was night. It was late night. It was definitely not his regular hours. And I'm like, I don't even know how they tracked him down. He's a private therapist. But they did anyway. So I sent him a message back explaining, and he sent me back going, oh, yeah, I figured, thought that it was probably because it was a new doctor and saw how your brain works and, was nervous about it. And that was all. So he was not even that, I don't want to say that concerned, but he was yeah, he sort of figured that it really wasn't an emergency because he had talked to me the day before. So he knew that I was all right. Everybody knew I was all right. It was just the entire system. I mean, I suppose it's good that the medical system and mental health, that they are having anything to do with each other now, that it's integrated at all, because there are medical issues. As a matter of fact, my cat, his issue, they said that it can be triggered by stress. So maybe my cat has a mental issue too, and it's causing physical issue, where he's having inflammation in his gut. Oh my God, something else for me to be guilty about. You know, the one can cause the other, but being an absolute non-specialist, how the medical system reacts to mental health issues, I just think it's not working. It's not good. It needs to be fixed. And anyway, that's enough of this. And when I have a real update of something actual, and especially if I have something that can help, as opposed to saying, hey, you out there, figure this out and fix it, is basically what I'm saying. Sorry about that. If I do have any more actual suggestions on things that can help with somebody with avoidant personality disorder, I'll make another video. Bye.